Hey guys, welcome to Stripped Astrology with Sarah. Today we are going to be talking about compatibility between Aries woman and Scorpio man. So keep in mind that we are doing sun signs. So to get a complete picture of your compatibility with your man, you're really going to need your birth charts. And if you ever need help reading your birth chart, feel free to reach out to me on any of my social media apps. My links are all in my bio, or email me at strippedastrology@gmail.com. Also, you can request a live reading from me and I will be glad to answer any questions you have, whether that's about compatibility or your own sign or your man's sign or anything astrology wise. Trust me, I will be able to answer any of your questions. I'll be more than happy to help. So typically Aries woman and Scorpio man dynamic is very passionate at first because they are both ruled by Mars, okay? Scorpio being co-ruled by Mars and Pluto, and Aries is solely ruled by Mars. So definitely the fact that they're both ruled by Mars attracts them intensely to each other in the beginning because they both have that like fiery, passionate energy that Mars gives off. They both are prone, to tempers, Aries being more so prone than Scorpio because it's only solely ruled by Mars. Scorpio has that Pluto aspect that kind of calms it down a little bit. Also, the fact that Aries is a masculine sign and Scorpio is a feminine sign, so that will also bring them together because opposites do attract in that way. Scorpio men typically are attracted to the type of women who are very shy nature, the type that are very pure and angelic, like the sunny types. He also likes the shy and like giggly types, like, you're so funny, oh my god, I'm so shy, don't look at me. Like, he loves that. He loves the clingy types, like I said. So he is going to be a little bothered that Aries is not the clingy type because he likes to be very possessive over his woman. He likes to know what she's doing like at all times. So the fact that Aries is very unapologetic in her attitude and very strong-willed and independent and not clingy at all, that might bother him a little bit, the fact that she is not like clingy on him all the time. And then also, the fact that given that Scorpio is more prone to these types of girls that are more like attached in their nature, this relationship will probably like strive the most if it's like a friends with benefit relationship or like a purely sexual relationship, because they really strive in that aspect. Of course it can work as a committed relationship, but like I said, it depends on your personalities and your birth chart overall. But I will give you kind of like a basic picture of what it probably works as, like if it were a serious relationship. So Aries rules Scorpio's 6th house, okay? And the 6th house is the one of service and routines. So he will kind of operate under the impression that they almost picked each other up as like one would a drug habit or something, like whether good or bad. But either way, this relationship could become something of an addiction to one or both of them. And Scorpio rules Aries' 8th house, which is all things that are deeply shared between two people. So they have this dynamic of like just sharing in their relationship. And that kind of explains why Aries woman tends to act a bit out of character in this pairing. She just expresses commitment, instead of her signature like detached style. And for her, this is like a potentially like sacred relationship. She really values this relationship. It's something very new to her, something that she hasn't experienced before, but she also feels like a very strong connection to him. And she works really hard to keep this relationship intact. Scorpio also brings out Aries' desire to have children. He tends, because she tends to think that he's gonna make like the perfect mother for his children. The reason I say her children, the reason I say mother is because, I kind of like, made fun of Scorpio a little bit in my Scorpio man episode, the fact that they're like known as the, male lesbian of the zodiac because they're very in tune with like feminine nature more so than any other man. So he does have like a more motherly aspect to him than fatherly aspect. So that's why I say, mother, because of that way. So he will definitely bring out the need for her to want to have more kids. That will definitely show. And like I said, she's definitely going to value this relationship. So he's going to be more motherly at the end of the day. And they definitely will bring that out in Aries woman, that she's going to want to have kids. So when she meets her Scorpio man, she might be like change her mind completely. Like she might have like not wanted to have kids before, but when she meets her Scorpio man, she's like, no, I want to have kids. So, the children, if they do have children, They will probably be raised by the Scorpio man. You know, he might be like the stay-at-home dad type, while the Aries woman will kind of launch her like business or career. And that's a very common pattern that you see among Aries woman and Scorpio man. When it comes to sex between the two, you know, Aries feels that she can really open up to him. Like, he's a very intense and emotional lover, and we mentioned that in the Scorpio man episode. So she learns that something like just kissing, for instance, can be very erotic and, you know, even more sexual than sex, and that's not her type of thing. Like, she's more like, let's get straight to the point, come on, like, you know, just like the Aries man, like, let's just do our business and get straight to the point and get it over with. So he also tends to turn her into a more submissive lover. She's usually like the more dominant type of lover. And he, of course, will try to get her to be a fan of anal sex. Okay, I mentioned that in my Scorpio man episode, that they are obsessed with assholes, both Scorpio men and women. They have like a big fascination with anal sex. So he will try to get her to be more into that. They're just like butt addicts, okay, trust me. So they love your ass. They'll always touching your ass, everything, but they love it when their girl is like, okay, let's do anal sex. I find that disgusting, but you know, if it's your thing, okay, whatever. But Aries woman might just grab the nearest dildo and shove that thing right up his fucking asshole. Like, that is typical Aries woman behavior. Like, she'll be like, okay, motherfucker, you want anal sex? Okay, right up your ass. Here you go. Let's see how it feels. Let's see how it feels for you, you know? So right up your fucking ass. So anyways, guys, overall, they can be a really, really good match. And sometimes they can end up being like a long-term couple. And I've seen that a lot between, you know, Aries and Scorpio man, that he just brings out a side of her that she normally doesn't have, and they can really end up together for life. And they end up as an amazing couple. You know, they really bring out the good in each other. So it's a really, really powerful dynamic. And when they can make the long-term work, it usually really, really excites both of them. And they just step out of their comfort zone. You know, each of them is going to have their own like way of life. And once they come together, they're just going to really feel like they're just going with the flow, you know, having the time of your life, being excited. Like, I'll give you an example of like a popular, you know, Aries and Scorpio couple that you guys probably all know of because they're so famous, is Kourtney Kardashian. You know, she's an Aries, and Travis Barker from, you know, Blink-182, the drummer from Blink-182. He's a Scorpio. And, you know, she was with Scott Disick for like forever, like for like almost 10 years, you know, had 3 kids with him. He was the Gemini, and he like always wanted to marry her, and he proposed to her like a couple times, but she always said no, like she didn't want to get married, and she was just not into, you know, getting married like at all. And then along came, you know, Travis Barker, and, you know, they started out as friends because they were neighbors, and then like along, you know, he came and they decided to, you know, go, you know, be more than friends, and this developed into an intense dynamic that you can all see when you see them like on TV or anywhere. You know, they're always like PDA all the time. They're always all over each other, touching each other, kissing each other. They just can't get their hands off of each other. And he just turned Kourtney into a completely different person. Like, you know, she used to be like the more like reserved type. She used to be like very kind of more like subtle, less like, you know, wanting to like explore and go around and have a good time. And he made her appreciate everything in life. He made her more open to adventures. He also brought out, like I said, the want to have kids, even though she already had 3 kids before. Like, all of a sudden she wanted to have another kid with him, especially. They tried, but it didn't work out. Maybe later, who knows. But, you know, they had like 3 weddings. Like, that's intense. Like, why 3 weddings, you know, in different places? And they did all this, like, they had a series on it. I didn't watch it. I'm not that into watching the Kardashians, but, you know, like, everybody knows everything about them because they're all over the place in your face, social media all the time. But honestly, as much as I despise the Kardashians, this relationship is really very intriguing, and it's a very, you know, it's a beautiful relationship, honestly, because the fact that she didn't want to get married for years when she was with Scott Disick, and then she was only with him for like a few months or whatever, and then all of a sudden she was like, I want to get married, and she just knew right away that he was her soulmate and she wanted to get married. Of course, that was like a big bummer for Scott, you know, because he was like, what the fuck, like, I was with you forever, I had 3 kids with you, and you didn't want to marry me, and now you're like all about marriage and having 3 weddings and all this crap. But she definitely, you know, came out of her shell, and she's just like, you feel like she's more comfortable in her own skin. And Scorpio men have that type of dynamic where they're just really good at getting their woman to feel comfortable in their own body, comfortable in themselves. They make their woman more confident and they make them really enjoy the pleasures of life. They just have that ability. So being with a Scorpio man is definitely really eye-opening. It's definitely a beautiful experience. But if it goes badly or takes, you know, a south route, then it can be an intense bad experience, like hell. Okay, it's not good when it goes, you know, in the bad direction. So as long as this relationship's going good, you guys keep your communication open, you keep, you know, having that passionate energy with each other, you know, you don't lose your sex life, you lose all the things that brought you guys together in the first place, then this relationship can really end up striving and being an amazing one. So that's all for Aries and Scorpio man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out my other videos on compatibility if you'd like to know how Scorpio man is with other signs. I will also be releasing more videos very soon on the Scorpio man in general. You can go check out my Spotify. The link is in my bio below. You'll find the Scorpio man episode. It's like a 2-hour long episode that describes everything that you need to know about the Scorpio man. And I will be releasing Scorpio woman today also, so that's exciting to look forward to kind of see the difference between Scorpio woman and Scorpio man. And I will also be releasing compatibility for Scorpio woman with all the men of the zodiac. Thank you guys so much for listening. Love you. See you next time.